The sound of the gym door slamming shut echoed like thunder in Emma Carter's ears. Her heart skipped a beat. She had come back after school to pick up her forgotten notebook, thinking the halls would be silent and safe. But fate had other plans. The gym wasn't empty. 3 figures stepped out from the shadows, girls she knew all too well. Madison, the queen bee with perfect hair and an even sharper tongue. Kayla, her loyal second-in-command who laughed at every cruel joke. And Brianna, the follower, the one who did what she was told just to avoid being a target herself. Emma's stomach dropped. Well, look what the cat dragged in, Madison sneered, her voice dripping with cruelty. The little mouse came out to play. Emma froze, clutching her notebook against her chest like a shield. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but the door slammed again. Kayla had moved behind her, blocking the way out. I just need to grab my stuff, Emma stammered, her voice trembling. I'll be gone in a second. But Madison wasn't interested in letting her go. No, Madison wanted entertainment. You know, you're so boring, Emma, Madison said, circling her like a predator. Always quiet, always hiding behind those ugly sweaters. I think it's time we make you a little unforgettable. Within minutes, the girls had dragged Emma to the center of the gym. Her protests fell on deaf ears. Hold her still, Madison barked, and Kayla and Brianna pinned Emma's arms. She thrashed, she kicked, but they were stronger, and Emma's cries only made them laugh harder. Madison pulled out a coil of rope she had grabbed from the sports storage closet. Emma's eyes widened in panic. No, please, don't. But Madison ignored her, looping the rope around her wrists, tying it tight. Emma's skin burned as the coarse rope dug into her flesh. She tried to wriggle free, but the more she fought, the tighter it became. Up she goes. Madison laughed cruelly. With the help of the others, they hoisted her up. The rope tightened as Emma's feet left the floor, dangling her just below the rafters like a puppet on a string. Her legs kicked desperately, searching for solid ground, but there was none. Her heart pounded in her chest, her breaths came in shallow gasps. She felt the world tilt, the humiliating weight of being utterly powerless. Look at her squirm. Brianna laughed. Perfect little puppet, Madison smirked, pulling out her phone. The red recording light blinked. Smile for the camera, Emma. Tears stung Emma's eyes. Her cheeks burned with shame. Every cruel word they had ever said about her, worthless, weak, invisible, echoed louder than the sound of her ragged breathing. And in that moment, Emma believed them. But then, something changed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't sudden. It was a whisper inside her heart, faint but unyielding. Why are you letting them do this? Why are you hanging here, powerless, when you know you were so much more? Emma blinked through her tears. She remembered her favorite stories, the ones she used to read late at night under her blanket. Tales of heroes who stood against impossible odds. Characters who weren't born brave but became brave when the world forced them to be. Her chest tightened, but not from fear this time. From anger. Her tears dried, her sobs silenced. She stopped squirming. What's this? Madison frowned, noticing the change. Why'd she stop? Emma twisted her wrists again. The rope bit into her skin, but she didn't care. She twisted harder, forcing the knot to shift ever so slightly. Her arms ached, but the rope wasn't perfect. There was slack. There was a way out. Hey, she's doing something, Kayla muttered nervously. She can't get out, Madison scoffed, though her confidence wavered. Emma's breaths grew heavier, sharper, stronger. She pulled, twisted, wriggled, ignoring the pain until finally, miraculously, her right hand slipped free. She clenched her fist in triumph. With her freed hand, she reached into her sweater pocket, her fingers brushing against the small pair of scissors she always carried, something her art teacher had given her. The bullies hadn't noticed. Emma raised the blade and cut the rope clean through. She fell. The impact knocked the breath out of her, but she was alive. On her knees, gasping, staring up at the 3 stunned faces above her. Slowly, painfully, Emma rose to her feet. Her chest heaved, her eyes burned, but for the first time, there was fire inside her. She looked Madison dead in the eyes. "Never again," Emma whispered, her voice steady and strong. And in that instant, something shifted. For the first time, Madison didn't look like a predator. She looked like prey. Emma didn't just escape that gym. She walked out taller, fiercer, stronger. But escaping the Rafters was only the beginning. The next week, the video Madison had recorded began to spread. Emma braced herself for humiliation. She was terrified that the entire school would see her dangling like a puppet, powerless and weak. But when the whispers began in the hallways, Emma noticed something strange. People weren't mocking her. They were inspired. She cut herself free. Did you see her face? She wasn't scared anymore. She's braver than any of us. For the first time, Emma wasn't invisible. The principal called her in. When Emma told her everything, the bullying, the ropes, the video, the school finally acted. Madison, Kayla, and Brianna were suspended. Their reign of fear was over. But Emma's battle wasn't finished. She still carried scars, bruises on her wrists, nightmares that woke her in the middle of the night, memories that made her shiver. She still doubted herself sometimes, still felt that trembling fear in her chest. But she also discovered something else, strength she never knew she had. Other students began to approach her. Quietly at first. In whispers. "Emma, they bully me too. I saw what you did, you're amazing. Can you help me?" And Emma realized something incredible, her escape had given others hope. So she decided to do more. She started a group at school. A safe space for anyone who had been bullied. They called it Rise Above. At first, it was just a handful of students sitting in a circle, sharing stories. But word spread. Soon, dozens joined. Then teachers. Then parents. They shared their pain. They built each other up. They reminded one another that no bully, no cruel word, no rope could ever define them. Emma had gone from being invisible to being unstoppable. Months later, Emma stood on stage at a school assembly. Her palms were sweaty, but her voice was strong. "I know what it's like to feel powerless," she said, scanning the crowd. "I know what it's like to think you're alone. But you're not. You never have to stay silent. Sometimes, all it takes is one moment of courage to change everything, not just for yourself, but for others too." The auditorium erupted with applause. Students rose to their feet. Teachers wiped their eyes. And in the back row, Madison sat quietly, no longer smirking. Emma had cut more than a rope that night. She had cut free from fear, from silence, from invisibility. She had turned pain into power. And she had changed everything. The message. No matter how tied down you feel by fear, by bullies, by the voices that tell you you're not enough, you always have the power to rise. The rope doesn't define you. The pain doesn't define you. You do. Call to action 4, be kind always. Friends, if Emma's story touched you, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt trapped, but found the courage to cut yourself free? Share your story in the comments. Your words might give someone else the strength they desperately need. And if you believe in spreading kindness and standing up against bullying, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and join our family here on Be Kind Always. Because together, we can rise above.